Welcome to the Metal Detecting Podcast, brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. We're digging the plugs and pinpointing the topics you want to hear. Now here's your hosts, Dave Kimball and Grant Hansen.
This show is brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. XP Metal Detectors is a high-end, innovative metal detector company with high-end metal detectors, coils, and pinpointers. For more information, go to xpmetaldetectors.com. For a dealer near you, try a Google search or go to xpteamusa.com. Hello and welcome to the Metal Detecting Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kimball, coming to you from Central Oklahoma, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Grant Hansen, coming to you from New Jersey. How you doing, Grant?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, some big news in the world of metal detecting this week was that the Garrett acquisition of White's Technologies.
Oh, I seen that. Wow. When we heard that White's closed their doors, it was kind of a shock, but I think a lot of people were kind of expecting it, but it was just still a shock because they've been around for so long. Kind of wonder, why did nobody else really acquire the business right away? But then Garrett took that opportunity and bought it, and they're going to keep the Warnies, I guess, going. I wonder if they're going to continue with the White's name or if they're just going to...
I don't know. You would think they'd have to be doing something, right? Because what would be in it for them financially to just, I'll take care of the warranty? That's just going to cost them money. So there's got to be something to it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure White's has a lot of good technology. And from what I heard, that they have the multi-frequency is actually patented under White's, and they have been leasing it out to other companies from what I heard. And I don't know if that's a rumor or if that's true, but I know if that's true, then Garrett owns it now.
Right. That's a really good point. So they just, could be just the technology in itself, and they're going to come out with a new detector and see what it's like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. Just kind of watch it and see how it plays out.
Yeah. And, I hope people, everyone seems to be very positive about it. It's, one good company buying another good company. So, so far it's a good news story.
Yeah. There was another story I saw that you posted not too long ago about didn't a kid find some type of sword in the water? What was that all about?
Yeah, it's just like, man, she was like wading in a lake, and I guess something hit her foot or her leg. She thought it was like a stick, like a big stick. She pulls out this, I think it was like a Viking age sword or something like that. Are you kidding me?
That's great. Here we are looking for that stuff, and it just... bumps
into
her leg.
It made me think back of just like painstakingly dealing through all the iron to find a pull tab or a zinc penny, and then she just stumbles upon this sword.
Yeah, somebody needs to give her a metal detector.
Yeah. I would definitely get into that lake, although since that discovery, I think they have had some archaeological surveys in the lake, and they have found some stuff. Nothing else, I think, Viking, but I think it was medieval or Celtic or something like that, which is pretty cool.
Wow. Where was this at?
It was I'm trying to remember. I want to say like Sweden, maybe one of the Scandinavian countries, I think.
You're right. I think that rings a bell. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some amazing discoveries. I just saw today on one of the news channels or websites that there was another ginormous figurine of, what are they, the Naxi lines, or I'm trying to remember what those things are called, the Nazca lines. Those things that they're down in Peru, like you can't see them from the ground if you're in an airplane, like it's these giant glyphs of animals and people, and they found one of a cat just recently.
Wow.
Yeah, just you think about the technology that didn't exist 3,000 years ago, and they're making a picture that's a mile long. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's insane, the stuff that they used to do that we can't even do today. And
I know. Yeah. But hey, it just tells you there's still a lot more things to discover. I mean, things of that size are getting discovered right now. So, there's still a lot in the ground for us to go after.
That's what I am so torn from archaeologists, how the laws are and how they run with all that. And there's so much stuff that can be found using metal detectors. And it just seems like it's like a forbidden thing with certain people and in archaeology.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're coming around to them. And I think the ones who come around realize that it's a skill, right? Because you can watch all these expedition shows on TV and things like that. And when they get the archaeologist out and they've got a metal detector, I kind of laugh because they've got, very entry-level machine, something that costs $150. They're swinging it 6 inches above the ground. They obviously don't know what they're doing. So if archaeologists were to partner with seasoned detectorists, I mean, think about the asset we could be.
Oh, yeah. And there's actually, I just got through doing a course during the summer over American Indians, and I learned a lot on American Indian history. And I know there was a period where they went through a lot of laws against archaeology with Native American, and because they were really taking advantage of them. They were digging up the Indians and using them for medical purposes and study and stuff like that. And they were just digging up, artifacts left and right. And it got to the point where the Indians, they didn't care what was under there. They just said, well, why didn't you just ask us what was there? We would have told you. And so there was a lot of laws that were passed. So, I mean, the things that people did back in the history is really hurting us now.
Right. You got the so-called grave robbers, and you got night hawkers, tomb raiders, all that kind of stuff. It goes way back.
Oh, yeah.
You got the person today who just will trespass on a private property and,
Yeah, that's that's no joke. I mean, that's people out there. If you're listening, please get permission. I mean, if they don't want to give you permission, go somewhere else. There's all kinds of places out there. Just go find something else.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah. All right. Some new news for us, anyways. We used to be on XP Team USA's YouTube channel, and as well as Spreaker. We're still on Spreaker. We're always going to be on Spreaker, but we have moved our shows from the YouTube to our own YouTube channels. Now we're on the Metal Detecting Podcast. So get on YouTube and just search for the Metal Detecting Podcast. Find us on there, subscribe, and get us going again. We had a lot of views on YouTube on XP Team USA, so we're starting over from scratch. Every show from our archive is moved over, so they're all on there. So go down there, subscribe, and I believe we even have a contest because somebody was mentioning we haven't had a contest in a while, so we had to fix that. So what about our contest we got going, Grant?
Yeah, we've got a great giveaway from Omega Mill, so thanks so much to Steve Blankenship for that. We're going to be giving away a Relic Elite pouch in black camo. It's a really attractive looking pouch, really durable. I use the Omega Mill pouches, so whoever wins this is going to get a nice treat.
Yeah, they look really cool. Mega Mill pouches will last you a lifetime. They're the best pouches out there.
Yeah, and all you have to do to enter is go to the YouTube channel that Dave was just talking about. We'll put a link in the description for this podcast, and subscribe and comment on YouTube that you are a subscriber, or thanks for listening. You can comment whatever you want, but that's all you have to do is subscribe and put a comment in the channel on the show, and that'll enter.
That's right. Yeah, just comment on this show we're talking on right now. So if you're listening to it on Spreaker, after you're done, just click on the YouTube, and you don't even have to listen to it all again. Just subscribe and click on this show and comment and let us know you subscribed, and you will be entered to win the black camo Relic Elite pouch.
Yeah, thanks again to Omega Mill and Steve Blankenship. Really appreciate that.
All right, we'll announce the winner on our next show, which will be November 6th.
Yep, turning the corner. November.
Wow, man, this year is almost over with.
I know. Good.
Yeah, good. Hopefully 2021 is not like this. All right.
Right.
So today we talked to Dave Wise. Dave Wise is a well-known metal detectorist who represented White's Metal Detector, and he had a great YouTube channel and a good following on Facebook. So when we get back, let's talk to Dave Wise.
All right.
Hey guys, RC here with XP Team USA. If you want to sit back, relax, and just watch some fun and entertaining detecting videos, head on over to YouTube and search for my channel, RC's Dirt Therapy. I promise it will be worth a subscribe.
This segment is brought to you by Omega Mill Pouches, the official digging pouch of XP Team USA. If you're looking for a rugged, hunt-tested, washable pouch, look no further than Omega Mill. Get on eBay and search Omega Mill Pouches. That's OMEGAMILL.
Tonight we welcome a well-known and well-liked detectorist from a fantastic part of the United States, New England. He's a former White's Field team member and finds tons of George Washington inaugural buttons. Please help us give a warm welcome to Dave Wise. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks
Good.
so much for coming on our show. We got lots to talk about tonight. But first, let's go back to the beginning. How long have you been detecting, and what got you started?
God, I think it's been 37 years now that I've been detecting.
Wow.
What got me started was when I was 18 years old, my dad came home with a White's 4000D Coinmaster that he bought. So we kind of punked around the backyard and stuff, found some clad coins, and I don't know, I just kind of got hooked from there.
What kind of machine did you use when you finally got your first, like your own machine, and no longer using your dad's?
I think it was like 1990. No. Yeah, 1990. I was married. I got married. I was in upstate New York, up in Plattsburgh, New York. And I decided with my income tax check that I wanted to get, a newer model. So I was looking at the White's machines online, and I couldn't afford the Eagle Spectrum. That was top of the line back then. So I decided to go with the Silver Eagle, which was one step below. It had less bells and whistles than the Spectrum did. So I ordered that through Kansas, Texas Metal Detectors. I don't even think they're in business anymore. And then I started door knocking at older Victorian homes in the area and old churches and stuff. And I started finding, seated dimes and Indian head pennies, and I was just hooked right from there.
All right, yeah. The first great find that sets the hook. What was the first amazing find that really got your blood pumping?
I'd have to say it was a seeded coin. It was, I dug an 1875 seeded quarter, and it was worn out, but it was like, wow.
And were you into coin collecting at the time? Or like, did you know what you had found, or did you learn about that as you went?
No, I was into coins at that time, so I knew.
So being from New England, I mean, you mentioned you did some Victorian homes, but you are in an area with a lot of cellar holes. Due to the popularity of the hobby, it's a lot more than when you started all those years ago. You've got technologies like LiDAR, and it's got to become harder and harder to find a virgin site. So how was it like when you first started detecting at cellar holes to what it's like now?
Well, I started cellars maybe about 12 years ago. That's when I saw Danny LaMontagne and his buddy George. They were finding just amazing colonial artifacts and coins, and I was on a friendly metal detecting forum with them. So I messaged Dan because I had known about the early settlement in my hometown, and it was all cellar holes, but I knew about those from being a Boy Scout taking a hike. So I remembered those sites. So I messaged Dan. I said, there's some sites down here where I grew up in my hometown. It was the very first settlement. And would you come down? You want to come down and I'll take you down to them. Can you show me, show me the ropes and stuff? He's like, absolutely. So, we got to the very first cellar hole after checking out a cemetery, which was on the way. We stopped and looked at the dates and stuff, and he's like, wow. He goes, this, all the people that died were like 1789, 1770s. So he said, this should be a good settlement to detect. So we got to the first site, and he was popping buttons. He popped the King George, and I was getting frustrated because it's so much different than lawns and yards, because you got ferns to test with and down trees and branches. So he let me dig a couple button signals and let me keep the targets. And then right in front of the cellar hole, I got a nice like 80 something. So I dug down about 4 inches, and it was a 1801 drape bus large scent. So that was my first cellar hole large scent. So I was just hooked on Colonial since then. So I kind of owe that all to him for kind of showing me, and I never looked back since then. It's just, I love the Colonial period, so that's what I focus on.
Oh yeah. So after you find your ideal location, what are some of the physical challenges of getting around to a cellar hole?
Like I said, in the summertime, there's a lot of overgrowth, and there's down branches, there's rocks. There's underground bees nests you dig into. There's ticks. There's mosquitoes. There's gnats that fly into your eyeballs. It's challenging, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, I would rather be there dealing with all that than at a park and having kids just swarm you, which, I mean, I have nothing against kids, but, one park I was digging a hole and there was like 5 or 6 kids that come running over. One kid stepped on my detector, snapped the shaft.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was detecting a few years ago at a church site, and there were kids hanging around. Like, look, if you're genuinely interested, come on over and watch. And I kept telling them, you got to give me some space to swing. First of all. And then, there'd be times where I dug a plug and they'd stick their hands in before I could even see what was in there. I was just like, oh man, this is not relaxing at all. No, so yeah. So for years you were on the White's field team. When they announced that they were going out of business, did you expect that, or were you just as surprised as everybody else?
I was just as surprised as everybody else. I did not see that coming. I don't think anybody did. Yeah. But I think this COVID crap that really put a nail in the coffin. Getting parts from overseas, certain parts, even though they're made in America. There were some components that were not made in America, so that put a hamper on their production. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy Garrett bought them. I'm happy a USA-based company bought them, and hopefully they carry the torch.
Oh yeah.
We're all devastated. I feel bad for the employees that lost their jobs, because when they flew us out to Sweet Home, Oregon, it was just such an awesome trip, meeting everybody, seeing how the stuff was made. They're just a great family-run company, and it's a trip I'll never forget.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're all hoping that Garrett keeps the White's legacy going and continue with the brand. We know you've been representing White's for some time now. How did you get into that spot representing White's, and how did that feel once you got into that?
Well, I think it was Melissa Wise from White's. She messaged me and said, we're putting together a field team, and we were wondering if you would be interested. We're gonna pay for your flight and fly out to Sweet Home, Oregon, all expenses paid. And I said, absolutely, I would love to. So it's been a fun ride, and like all good things, it comes to an end. It's sad. I feel bad for the rest of the field team members. We're kind of like lost souls. Gives me a little more time to focus on, just getting out there and relaxing and doing stuff rather than, doing videos and stuff, which I should start doing more YouTube videos. But I'm not in it to get money for YouTube videos. I don't have that many followers. So I just do it to document my finds. And when I'm 80 years old, I can look back, say, hey, I remember finding that. That was awesome. That was a great day with these guys detecting.
It's funny. I was just about to say the same thing about what I've been lazy in the past years of filming, and I've started to do it a lot more. And like you say, I like being able to go back and re-experience what I found. And if other people enjoy it, then that's great, but I've got a library of memories now.
Yeah.
I don't do videos a whole lot, but every now and then I'll open up some of my old find boxes and I'll see stuff in there that I don't even remember finding.
Yeah.
And going back to your question, you said, how is it affected, with the technology or the research and stuff? It's getting tougher and tougher to find sites that are producing, because everybody, I think Facebook, everybody posting cellar hole finds, everybody's getting into it. And it's just, there's more people, and the sites are getting pretty cleaned out. They don't renew themselves. So once a target is dug and taken, it doesn't replenish.
And are most of these on public property, and is that how people are getting on, and like, is private property still, you have to go out and get your permission just like anything else?
Well, yeah. I mean, some are state forests, some are open space, some is town land, but there's some on private property, and we try to find the homeowner and get the permission. And when you do get the permission, they say, oh yeah, there's 2 foundations back there, and nobody's ever detected it, and they've been living there 50, 60 years. And so you get all excited, and you get there, and then there's dig holes, so somebody snuck on there because they were using the technology. So I mean, there's a lot of controversy on that. Some people get upset that we try to keep it hush hush, but it is open and free information, but people use it not appropriately sometimes. If they could get onto a private property without being seen due to that technology, then there's bad apples. And so I don't know. It's if you have a learning, like if you have a research tool, I can't see why you would want to just blab it to everybody. I mean, some people like to help other people, but I don't know. I guess you look at it as if you found a nice fishing hole, you don't want to tell everybody where it is. So I don't know. People, there's just two opposite views of that. So
yeah, I get your point. Wanting to help, but at the same time, like, you're really just making it. You're gonna get the crowds there, and then you who've kind of been doing it for all these years, now all of a sudden it's a level playing ground in a way, and people are just going to flood those sites.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a few guys post it, so I messaged them and said, listen, I said, that's your call, but don't be surprised if you get to that site 3 miles into the woods hiking an hour, and you get there and there's open holes because somebody used the information that you just threw out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. So but it is what it is, and it's no secret no more. So.
Yeah.
Then the next step is, we're going to have to just start door knocking on colonial homes or older homes, because there's not going to be any cellar holes that produce anymore, because they're just wiped out.
Now you'll be entering my world. That's what I do.
And it's nerve-wracking going up to a door, but I do it, and it's a 50-50 chance. It's better than the lottery. It's going to be yes or no.
Right.
People are going to have to break down and really get into the library and start reading and researching and doing some of the heavy reading.
I mean, there's sites out there that don't even show up on that with that technology. So,
right.
If you stumble onto a cabin site that didn't have a root cellar dug, then you're going to have a good site. And we've stumbled on a couple of them.
Yeah, I remember the first time I detected a cellar hole, I literally stumbled upon it. Like, we were looking for it, we just couldn't find it. And I said, let me go stand on top of this little hill here and see if I can get a different vantage point. And the actual hill that I was standing on was right at the lip of the actual hole. It's just like I was 10 feet away from it and couldn't see it.
Yeah, there's signs to look for, but sometimes there's just a well and just a little square footprint of a little raised area because they didn't dig a cellar, so it's a home site.
Yeah.
And those kind of things don't show up on that technology.
So switching gears a little bit, you've been pretty open about your sobriety, and first, let me just say congratulations on keeping the straight and narrow path. How long have you been sober now?
Thank you. It's been 17 years. July 23rd of this year was 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't miss it. I wish I did it sooner, but better late than never.
Oh, yes. What kind of challenges did you face during that time?
Nothing really. I mean, I know I cannot pick up a drink. If I do, I know where it's going to take me, and I don't want to go back to where I was. So it's pretty simple. I don't hang out with the old people I used to. I don't go to bars. There's a few times I went to see a band, my buddy's band play, and it wasn't that uncomfortable. I don't like doing it, but I'll just grab a soda or a bottle of water, and that's it. You just got to really want it. If you don't, that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Would you say that metal detecting is kind of like a healthy addiction? I find like it is. If I don't do it often enough, like I'm always thinking about it. I always want to do with it. And also, did it help you through your recovery?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a healthy addiction. I mean, but like with any addict, you take take it to the extreme, and I have taken detecting to the extreme. I don't get in trouble doing it. I'm saving a lot of stuff. I've helped to find some rings that people lost. So, it definitely is a healthy hobby. But if it gets to the extreme that you're thinking about going detecting more than you're home with your wife and stuff, that can cause a problem. But
And we'll be right back with Dave Wise right after this. XP has introduced its new ORX machine, a high-end machine at a mid-range price. The ORX has 4 factory preset programs, 2 gold, 2 coins, also 2 user programs. The ORX comes with a high-frequency coil and is compatible with the X35 coils. The ORX is now available in the USA.
Hi, this is Dave D.
Hi, this is Sonia.
RC Dunn.
This is Alan. We're the Minnesota Beach Boys.
This is David Kimball.
This is Grant Hansen.
Lynn Quelland.
Cameron Macer.
Pete Sorrell.
And we are
XP Team USA.
You're listening to the Metal Detecting Podcast.
And we're back with Dave Wise.
So when I first became Facebook friends with you, I got to say it's probably about 9 years ago or so. I knew you as like the king of the George Washington inaugural button. Can you tell us about the time you found your very first?
yeah, the first one where I was with this guy I used to detect with, and the site was hit pretty good. We weren't finding much, and then there was a little driveway coming off the main dirt road going up alongside of the cellar, and I decided to jump down into that little rut of the cart path coming up to the cellar, and I got like a 70-something signal. I dug down, and a big Danny button popped out, and I flipped it over, and I saw the oval in the center, and I knew right away. So I yelled to the guy I was detecting with, I think I got a GW. He's like, no way. I was like, yeah, I think it is. He's like, no way. So we came over, he's like, holy crap. And then, because I kept bugging Dan, I was like, dude, I find dandy buns all the time. When am I going to find a GW? He's like, they made a lot of dandies. And you just got to, maybe one of these days you'll get one, but that'll be the signal. It's one of those dandy buttons. So I was psyched.
So how many have you found in total, and how many different varieties have you found?
I got 13 total GW buttons in 3 different varieties. My first one and the only one is the oval GW with Long Live the President around the perimeter. And I have 2 memorable errors that has the writing going around the perimeter. It says March to Forest, 1789 memorable error with the eagle and star in the center. Then the other ones are just the plain eagle with the star.
There's quite a few people that we have interviewed that we've asked the question, what is on your bucket list? And a lot of them had given us that George Washington GW button. I'm going to start sending them your way.
Over the past few years, I've seen more and more detectorists finding GWs, and they're posting it to Facebook. Do you know if because there are more being found, is that affecting the value of them because there's just more out there?
I don't really think so, because a lot of these people aren't selling their finds, so it's not like they're ending up on the market and dropping the value. Maybe some are. I don't know. I mean, I see them for sale on eBay, and they range. It depends on the condition, but anywhere from $500 to $1,500. So I think there's more of a demand for them than what the supply is. So I think they'll always keep their value.
That's good.
Since like I said, a lot of people have been talking about their bucket lister, and you found that so many GW buttons. What is your bucket list?
Well, I have 2. I don't know which one I'd rather find more than the other, but the only 2 bucket listers that I would put neck and neck are a Drake Bust silver coin, American coin, or a 1652 pine tree shilling silver, or an oak tree shilling, one of those tree coins from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I got the whole Donnie Bailey's. That coin was just amazing. So
I was just going to say it was the same thing. I got the whole Donnie's too. It reminded me a lot of the hammered coins out of England.
Yeah. So those are my top 2 bucket listers. I don't care if I find one or the other. I'd like to find both of them, but it's hard to choose which one I would rather find. Probably the pine tree.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think I'd rather find the pine tree as well.
This show's going to air before Halloween, and our next one will be after Halloween. So we got to ask you, what's the most unusual or creepiest thing you've ever found?
Well, me and Todd were at a cellar hole, and I got a nice signal. It was in the 80s. I thought it was going to be a copper because it was hitting a full, like you knew it was just a good signal. So I'm digging down, and there's nails because we're right on the lip of the cellar hole. Then I see this pinkish thing with teeth. I'm like, what? So I yelled to Todd. I said, I found a denture. He's like, what? So he was filming and stuff and caught that on video. So just one set of dentures, like the lower, I think, and it had rubber. It was made out of vulcanite, which is like mid 1800s to later 1800s, and it had porcelain teeth in it. They're real glass. They weren't plastic or nothing. So I stood up and I swung again. The signal's still there, so I stuck my shovel on the ground. Then another one popped out. Then another one came out, like right with it when I was using the pinpointer. I'm like, what the hell? So finally I got the signal, and the last one was the fourth one, and it had a silver plate on the roof of the denture. So that's what was giving the signal. So I got two sets. Like, wow! I got them in my curio cabinet with a clay pipe sticking out of the teeth.
Well, that's funny. I guess they must have been somebody's, right? And they were kept together and lost together.
I don't know. Who knows how they ended up out there? But based on the material, it was from 1850s to like 1870s or something. Because I think after they used the vulcanite, they went to another material. So they're pretty old. But yeah, expect the unexpected in this hobby, I always say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to meet you last year at Pound the Ground. Do you anticipate going to any more organized digs?
No, I'd like to go to the one next year. I was going to go to the one up in Shazy this year, but the COVID put a squash to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably go to that one next year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll probably be there as well. Pete's going to put on a really nice event, I think.
Yeah, I went up there a couple weeks ago and hunted with Pete and Brian Doust. I had a blast.
Oh yeah, did he take you out to some of his War of 1812 sites?
Well, yeah, when I was married and I got my detector, when I told you about the detector I got, that's where I was living in Plattsburgh. But at that point, at that time, I didn't know about all the, I didn't know how to find these places, and I wish I really got into more of the historical aspect of it rather than just door knocking and trying to find coins.
Yeah. Well, things evolve over time, and just like technology. What are some of the more impressive advancements you've seen from those days when you started with the early whites to all the way up to the Pro that you're using now, or anything in between at other makers?
I think the target ID screen, the LCD screen, the different tones. So it gives you a little advantage to try to decipher the signal than just one tone and dig everything. It could backfire on you too, because you think it might be junk and probably walking over something and passing over something that was good. But
a lot of people have got different ideas for different future technologies and everything else. What would you like to see in the future in metal detecting technology?
I think the only thing I'd like to see is a digital screen that looks like an X-ray, that you can see exactly what that metal shape is.
That would be awesome.
Phenomenal.
But I think too, to your point of what you just made, you might see something that's all mangled. Think of like a belt plate or something, and if it's bent in half or bent sideways, you may see what that thing is with an X-ray and be like, nah, that's garbage. I'm just gonna pass on it.
Or if it's got a bunch of nails on top of it or under it,
right,
all around it, it just look like a spiky ball or something,
And I don't know. I don't know what else they can.
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes I want to be like Magneto, the supervillain, just stand there and just like get all the metal to rise the ground to deal with.
Oh yeah. So I ask this question of everybody we interview, and I gotta ask you, so if you ever got a 1-day pass to hunt anywhere in the United States that's always been off limits to metal detecting, where would you hunt?
I'd have to say Mount Vernon, where George Washington lived.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool, because everything that you found would have belonged to him or his family or his wife.
Right. There's plenty of land there too.
I was going to say like Gettysburg or something, but being a colonial kind of guy, I would have to go with Mount Vernon.
You think some historical society or archaeologists would team up with detectorists and just say, let's catalog all this stuff, and even if they want to just put it back on the ground, which I think being on display would be better, but just to kind of,
isn't that frustrating?
Tell that story, yeah.
They even have metal detectorists help some archaeologists, and they take it and they mark it down and they log it, and then they go back and they bury it right back where they found it. I mean, isn't that frustrating?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Montpellier, I always mispronounce it. They do a good job with detectorists coming in, and they catalog everything and store it. But
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like Danny LaMontagne and some guys from the Yankee Territory coin shooters, they were working with the Pequot Museum with the director, and they teamed up together to do some war of King Philip's War down in southeastern Connecticut. So with the detectors there, they were able to flag metal targets, and they found some great stuff. They were able to retrace some of the soldiers' paths in the battles and the skirmishes, and everything they found that went to the Pequot Museum, got tagged and labeled.
So without Whites in the picture, I mean, what's your future plans? Are you going to continue on with your YouTube videos or in your Facebook presence?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook I like because you get to interact with people. People ask you questions about cleaning stuff or what can this be? They ask for ID, so I like that. YouTube, I'll probably keep doing videos periodically just to document my finds, but I'm just going to keep detecting every weekend and enjoy what I do.
I do got to say, you do a really good job of cleaning your stuff, especially like old coppers. When you post pictures, like, geez, there's no way I found anything with detail like that. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. A lot of people are afraid to clean their stuff, and then they get people commenting, "Oh, you're going to lose a patina," or some people think like green on a button is patina, and it's actually corrosion. And I think it's better to get that off of the button because it's like a cancer. You don't want that sitting on the surface of your button.
I know. It's kind of a beginner problem, I think. I mean, when I first started, I was like that too. I was like, don't clean it, and all that. But then I started thinking, how much is it worth now compared to what it was a week ago? A week ago is a foot in the ground. Nobody had it. So nobody would ever have it, unless I dug it up, and it's full of dirt and crust and pits, and it's not going to be worth that much anyway. And then plus, we're not selling our items. We usually keep it for ourselves.
Yeah. I dug a large set that was in a Pocketsville. That thing had all this fluorescent green crusty stuff on the back. You couldn't even barely see the back of it. So I cleaned it and I posted it in Restoring Your Finds page. And I mean, it's like night and day what it looked like to what it is now. And one guy said, "You ruined the value on that. Now you devalued it." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, I can send you the picture, Dave, if you haven't seen it already. You'd be like, "Holy crap."
What's your techniques for cleaning?
Well, each coin is different. Most of my coppers, I'll let them soak in room temperature peroxide for a half hour or an hour. Then I'll take some Q-tips. I'll dip the Q-tip in the peroxide so it's wet and start working on the surfaces and pop it back in the peroxide if it needs more time. But some of the coppers are greenish and they got like half a patina, so the peroxide turns it brown, which I would rather have a brown copper than a green copper. It looks more natural, but it's not damaging to the surface of the coin. If the coin is pitted it's from the ground conditions, not from the peroxide.
Right. Yeah.
Because a lot of times that dirt fills in the little pits, so you don't see it when it's all dusty and dirty. But I would rather have all the dirt off my coins. Some people don't like that. That's just my own preference.
Have any of y'all ever used those French pencil cleaner?
Yeah, I got a set. Charles.
I got a set.
Me a
but
set.
I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, I have them. The Andre pencils.
Yeah, they work good in certain applications. It's just like I said, every coin is different, and you gotta approach it differently. And that large set, I had to use a metal nut pick to pop the green off. It was tedious. It took me like 3 hours to do it with a jeweler's loop in my eye. You know, but I got it all off, and I think it looks fantastic.
So, well, hey, Dave, thanks so much for coming on the show. I know we can talk all night, I'm sure, cleaning, detecting, history, research. So we'd love to have you back on another time, and we can talk more and have a fun conversation.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great having you on. We'd love to have you back. We'd love to hear about some of your future plans and whatever you got going on in the future. And we hope Garrett does great with whites and everything continues. I know they're going to continue, from what I heard, I guess they're going to continue with their warranties and everything else. Well, we'll find out how, if they continue the brand itself or if they're just going to merge all together.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, both companies had great customer service. They're both great companies.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, you know, that they were sold to a USA company.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I wish they would keep some of us field team members on. I know we're kind of bummed, but
well, maybe Garrett will be looking to expand theirs.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll have you back on again sometime, and we will talk to you then. We'll see you.
Take care.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Check us out online at xpteamusa.com.
We all know if you want to find good treasure, you've got to do research. HistoricAerials.com is one of the premier places to do that research. They've got the world's largest collection of United States historic aerial photos. You can compare pictures from year to year and see how topography and structures have changed over the decades. It's like having your own personal time machine. Make sure you're swinging your coil in the right places. HistoricAerials.com is free to use, but they also have subscriptions with awesome tools to help you track down treasure. Check out HistoricAerials.com. It's a real find.
All right, that was Dave Wise, man. It was great talking to him.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. I've been, Facebook friends with him for years now, and only met him in person last year at Pound the Ground. Really nice guy, seasoned. He's found some amazing stuff up in New England. So I was happy to finally talk to him.
Yeah, I've been Facebook friends with him for quite a while now, and I never really got to know him. I never talked to him or anything like that, and it was great talking to him. He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah, he's very well liked. I'm friends with others that he goes detecting with at the cellar holes, and they've got a nice camaraderie amongst them. So really good people.
Yeah. So everybody go to YouTube, like our show, the Metal Detecting Podcast. Also get on there and check out some of the XP Team USA videos on XP Team USA. They got some pretty good videos. So is Grant Hansen has some good videos. Go check him out also. Yeah,
I just released one on how to detect through iron. Half the tips are Deus specific, but the other half are just whatever detector you're using. Since I detect primarily amongst the iron, I'm pretty well versed in it. So hopefully there'll be some good tips in there for you.
Yeah, I watched your video on your Deus setting, and it gotta say it's pretty close to mine. Not too far. I hunt a lot on the hot program, but I adjust a lot of things in there, and it's pretty close to it. But I might give that a try and see what that does. Yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's pretty, it's good all around and easy to adjust. Yeah. So reminder about the contest. We got a contest right now for a Relic Elite Black Camo Omega Mill pouch. All you got to do is get on to this show on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, the Metal Detecting Podcast, and comment on this show on YouTube and let us know that you subscribed and you are entered. Yep. Very easy contest to enter, and we will announce the winner on our next show, which airs November. I had to stumble over November again, November 6th. All right. All right. Well, we'll see you again November 6th. Take care, everybody. All right.
Get that permission, put the coil to the soil, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Metal Detecting Podcast. Brought to you by XP Metal Detectors.